Hi, everyone. This is the next in our series of Compressed Air Challenge interviews of the superstars of compressed air. I'm Ron Marshall. I'm the Compressed Air Challenge Training and Marketing Coordinator. We're recording a series of interviews to give people a glimpse of the steps needed to become successful in the industry. I have with me today Jeff Yarnall, one of our top Compressed Air Challenge instructors. Jeff, could you tell everyone about yourself? What's your history with the industry, and what do you do now?
Good morning, Ron. I've been in the compressed air industry for, 44 years now. In January, I've topped over the hill again. And it's been really the only industry I've been in. Actually, I was still in college when I got recruited for this job. And it's funny because I just went to the interview for practice, and my owners and president must have been very good salesmen, because I took a pay cut and I had to move 400 miles away, and we had about a 3-month-old baby, and then now I had to go sell that to my wife. But it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The company that I work for is Rogers. Everybody knows that, but any rate, about halfway through my time in California, I came to Portland and got accepted into the first round of instructors for the Compressed Air Challenge. I thought it looked pretty interesting. It was developed by the Department of Energy. It was designed to save energy. And my training in college was environmental resources, and energy and saving water and how to do stuff was all part of my background. And I hate to say this, I come from a pretty liberal family, and I'm one of the, I would say, more conservative when it comes to money and industry, because that's where all of our stuff in North America happens, is in industry. It's amazing what I learned. And came to Portland and was teaching a few classes, and I noticed, this is back in like 99, 2000, the other instructors all had these side gigs. They had these, they made their own loggers. They were doing stuff. And so I thought it was pretty cool. So I, on the side, bought 2 loggers and went and measured some stuff and started writing my own models. And pretty quick, the sales division in our company, they got an order, and they got like the first 3 after this. And so pretty quick, my president and owner said, you're switching offices. This is your full-time job now. This was in 2001, mid 2001. And I was 3 weeks behind, and it's been that way ever since. As
You're a busy guy.
Yeah, Rod's sort of laughing and to do that. So I was very fortunate to get great support. But during that first 20 years, my advice to young people is to read all you can. Second is find a couple mentors you can talk to, inside and outside. And I'd say, Frank Moskowitz, Tom Toronto, and others in the Compressed Air Challenge have really helped. Bill Scales, hard to believe, but I read all of his stuff that I could. Even the KGI handbook, that's like 400 pages. It'll take you a year every night reading it at night. But I still have my original edition 6 with 100 little tabs on the side as to where to go to get information.
Me too.
So yeah, and
you can download it for free these days too.
Oh no, I bought a box of them and gave them out 15 years ago. Okay, people who wants Christmas food in the break room, I'd just hand out books to engineers. But they don't want books anymore. So it's amazing.
So other than that, where would you get knowledge to become an expert like yourself? Where do you get the knowledge in the industry?
It's really getting out in the field and following other people. I love jumping in a truck with a service guy and going out and seeing what his problems are and what he would do differently, because installation is probably the most important part of the job, because it doesn't matter how much energy a project's going to save if it's installed wrong and not commissioned correctly. The local guys will just switch all the machines back to hand. I love that mineral processing example we have in level 1 and level 2, because that's exactly what they did to avoid a problem. They switched them all to hand, and his phone didn't ring, and he's the operator. He's the owner of that system. So if you can set it up and educate him. Sorry, I'm off track there. But
that's all right. So level 1 is our fundamentals training program,
okay.
Compressed Air Challenge, and level 2 is the advanced. Yeah. So there's lots of good examples in there about things that can go wrong, right? Case studies. So do you have any other advice for people who want to advance in the industries? I'm talking about maybe sales professionals or service professionals that want to become compressed air auditors or assessors. Any advice?
Well, if you are working for a compressor distributor or manufacturer, learn everything you can about your equipment and how it works. It's amazing. In the
Call
past,
that RFM.
RFM. What?
Read the manual and you can fill out the middle part.
Yeah. And that lesson was taught to me in 1980. Our chief engineer's office was right across. And when I'm filling out quote forms as the rookie, it was just easier to, hey, Lyle, how much water does a 150 horse unit require? And he'd tell me 10.2 gallons per minute. Oh, okay, go back and fill out the form. About the third time I showed up in his office that week, he drug down and he said, and he handed me a manual and he says, don't come back in here until you've read this thing. It was only 12 pages long, for God's sakes. And, the joke in our family is that there are still manuals in our bathroom, and you can cut this if you want. What the heck are you going to read in there? My kids just give me heck all the time. And okay.
Very good. Yeah.
But read your manual, know your equipment, and how to relate multiple machines.
Yeah.
The people that design the machines make that machine work standalone, and many times they don't know they have a brother, sister, and a cousin sitting alongside, and you as the system coordinator or the system and how much energy it uses, you need to understand that. So I learned quite a bit even as I go along by post monitoring. I was surprised. Yes. Here are my predictions. Yeah. Here's how I got installed, and here's this. And I go, oh, that's what's going on. And we can now make corrections and get them on their way to optimize the system.
Yeah, I agree totally. Thank you very, very much for that answer. Now, talking about the Compressed Air Challenge training, the level 1 and level 2 fundamentals and advanced. So in the fundamentals, if you had to list a choice of the most important points contained in those materials, what would they be and why?
Well, I think the first one is understanding what it costs to make and then obviously use compressed air. The first one is in that first hour when we show you a pie chart, and it's roughly 3/4 electricity, and then we split up the other 12.5% between initial purchase and ongoing maintenance for 10 years. That is flabbergasting. I'll admit I was in sales to begin with, and the only thing they ever talked about was the initial cost. In fact, purchasing people went to schools on how to do this. And we all know each other in the industry. So here's the red box, the white box, and the blue box. And we all have 9 o'clock Friday morning appointments. We're all sitting in the lobby, and we get called in once in a while. And somebody's going to lower their price a bit, and they're going to eat into margin. But after a bit, and I try to explain this, after a bit, they're not going to lower their margin. They're going to take things away from the machine. They're going to take the VSD away. They're going to take the oversized coolers or the VFD on the cooling fan. Premium efficiency motors when we could. You'd go back to standard. And so that's how they're going to lower the price. And so we're going to ask you, and I sort of put on my pretend I'm a supplier, and we're going to ask you to spend more on the initial purchase and more on the maintenance, and we're going to whack that energy part in a third. And so that would be number one. Number two, I mentioned the mineral processing facility, and that's how multiple machines work together and how people.
That's in our training, yeah.
Yeah, to do that. And probably the third one, it wasn't surprising to me, but we show the demands. I think this is in fundamentals, where we show that roughly half the air is wasted and half is making money. And I got that lesson very good on a sawmill that we were starting up, and this was in 1980. We came there, we got this big 300 horse behemoth up and running, and he turns it on, and it takes 20 minutes to fill the mill. And meanwhile, it's starting to sound like the House of Snakes. And it gets up to 100%, gets up to the pressure, and it backs off to 80%. And I'm tapping the gauges. I think there's something wrong. I get Charlie, the service guy over there. He says, yeah, that looks about right. And I'm shocked. This machine is wasting more energy than I'm making, literally back then. So I get the mill manager over, and he comes over. Sorry, you're going to cut this out. But and I said, look at this thing. I said, you've got like 1,200 CFM of leaks. And he goes, yeah, that's about right. That one's for leaks. And he points at the other machine. That one's for production. And walked away. And I'm going, holy moly. This to a 25-year-old guy was just shocking, that people would waste it. That's like, my gosh, the house is too hot. We're going to open the door. So
very good story. Thanks for that. Yeah. I'm not going to cut it. Any other point that you would like to mention about the training? Important parts.
I like the very end, the stay calm, because I've modified it a little bit. I break the groups up and have them compete against each other.
Yes.
And then we bring it all together, and it's amazing how well they do. We assign, I think, $1,250 per horsepower, $1,250 for if I can lower the pressure, and then how big of a tank do I need to run over the hoist? But then the inappropriate or the expensive. The inappropriate uses, they replace the air hoist with an electric or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so they're all sort of competing. And of course, it all comes down to the controls guys. And when we get under one machine, and I think they sort of like it when we look at the beginning picture and it comes down, it's 1,400 feet out of 1,500. And I says, back in the 80s, hey, this all looks great. You're not running out of air. You got two machines. They're all doing good. Let's go have lunch. Literally, that's what we do. I didn't have anything else to talk to them about.
Yeah.
And now you do as an expert. You can talk about a lot of things. So keep your eyes open for other stuff going on. So, where does your money get spent? Who operates the systems? And keep your eyes open for other things on the demand side.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. In the pre-talk, when we were talking before recording, you talked about the difference between the new people now replacing the old people that are purchasing compressors. Now, you were mentioning that efficiency is more important these days than it used to be. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, sure. I keep referring to the 80s, but power was 1 and 2 cents. And who cared? That was not how my customers made money. They made money I was primarily wood products, and they made money by getting logs turned into square, clean things. They went from round, fuzzy things to, rectangular, clear things, and as fast as they could and get them through there because they were making a market-based item. 1 and 2 cent power didn't mean anything to them. Now, I see people, I spend a lot of time in California, and their bills are in the 19 cent for commercial rates, even higher. Pacific Gas and Electric just went to a new time of use because there's so much solar that it's actually pretty cheap during the midday, and that 4 to 9 is high. So they're all starting early, getting out of there before 4. But energy now is a big number. The nice thing is they're smaller industries, but we still have a lot of food processing, which takes massive compressed air for 100 days in the campaign. So it's a little different running stuff. So it enters it, but the really cool thing is all of the decision makers are younger than me now, and they've got it. They understand it. They've been listening to this for 20 years, and they grew up with energy efficiency and solar savings. My father still put on solar panels from Governor Brown, the first one. And then he replaced those and put them on with Governor Brown when he came back around, I think. When Jerry came back around, was governor again. And he's had solar on. Our house was an experiment, and
Yeah.
never mind.
So energy efficiency is much more important these days. And I'm pretty sure the efforts of CAGI is also bringing it to the top of people's thinking too, with all those compressor ratings and things like that.
Oh yeah. So at any rate, just got a call from a sales guy, but he could wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, thanks, Jeff, for your great answers and telling your stories. It's very interesting. And that's it for today, folks. Thanks very much. Join us for our next interview coming up in a few months. If you're interested in taking our highly rated training, please check out our calendar at Compressed Air Challenge website. That's compressedairchallenge.org and /calendar. And we will try to provide some link information when we're posting this on social media. Thanks very much, Jeff, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you.